Hello everyone, welcome to our Enshrouded survival guide. We are talking attributes today because they're kind of easy to look over when you're just focused on, building your base or upgrading your flame sanctum or your flame altar and, just exploring the world. But attributes are very important because they keep you alive in the game and they help you conquer enemies, really. So there's kind of like two main things about attributes that we're going to go into in today's video. The first is the six different types of attributes and what they do, and then how to improve them. So when it comes to attributes, we'll quick go to our character here. You can see what you got in your attributes by going to your character page and then going to all attributes. And these are the six primary attributes in the game. There's Constitution, Spirit, Endurance, Strength, Dexterity, and Intelligence. So your Constitution, and if you've played like D&D or any kind of tabletop games, these might look kind of familiar to you. Your constitution basically determines how much health you have, and each time you level up or increase your constitution, your health is going to increase by 50. Your spirit increases your max mana basically by 20 each time that you increase this, and your mana is responsible for how much magic you're able to use in a given amount of time before it needs to like refresh itself basically. Your endurance is your stamina max, and that increases by 10 each time you level up your endurance. And that has to do with things like dodging and using like a ranged weapon and blocking and climbing and basically anything to do, that would typically make your character exhausted, basically. Endurance, rather important if you ask me. Your strength, and these three here, all have to do with damage. Like, the first three have to do, with, your maximums of certain things. And then the following three have to do with, with the damage. So with strength, you're looking at your melee damage. So when you put in points into your strength, your melee damage is increased by 5% each point that you put in there. Your dexterity is your ranged damage, which also increases by 5% each time you put a point in there. And your intelligence is any kind of magic damage that you do, which also increases by 5% each time you put a point in there. And that's kind of how that all works. So obviously, leveling these guys up, putting points in, is pretty important, especially if you want to build your character in a certain way. So how do we do that? The first is with skills. You have this gigantic skill tree here, and they're each kind of split off into what I would call kind of the attributes. These would be primarily your strength focused and constitution focused. These would be your endurance and your I guess in a way definitely your dexterity and stuff. And then you got your spirit and your intelligence over here. It's kind of how it's sort of outlaid, but you'll notice that you can increase certain things as you go down the line. You might get a constitution one over here, in the blue section, the section that would primarily be spirit and mana. You might find one there. But anyway, the point here is that when you want to level up your skill, you'll notice that certain tracks have they boost up your particular skills or your particular attribute by 1 when you unlock them. So if I wanted to give myself more stamina, I might take this endurance attribute and unlock that. Or if I want to do more melee damage, I might go for a strength here, or I might go for a dexterity for more range damage. So that's basically how you do it. So it's kind of a good idea to first think about the kind of character that you want to create, whether that is somebody who uses magic primarily or ranged weapons primarily or swords primarily, and then kind of go down the tracks that are going to give you the best attributes to then use that character in that way. Now, skills aren't the only way that can actually boost your character's attributes. If we go to status, we can see that if we're rested, we get to increase our stamina, maximum, and regeneration time. And over here, quick too, before it disappears, certain food types also give us a bonus. So the grilled wolf meat gives us a +2 constitution. So that basically means that while this is active, we have if it was a +2, we have an extra 100 health to our overall health. So if I go back here, that bar has decreased significantly because that's 100 points that have now disappeared because my constitution has decreased. And then for arrested, just to go back to that, since it increases your stamina maximum and regeneration rate, basically this means that if you're arrested while you are rested, it's going to take less effort to it's going to give you, it's going to allow you to, like, swing your sword more, or shoot more arrows, or dodge more, basically just do more without eating into your stamina. So being rested before you go into a fight or anything that is going to be really taxing on your character is pretty important. And then obviously if you're also going to go into a battle or something, eating certain foods that will boost your character's attributes in a certain way, also pretty good. So like that grilled wolf meat, for example, so that gave us a bonus to our constitution. I would eat that before a fight just so that I have a little bit more health coming into the fight. So that's kind of like how you can both permanently increase the attributes through your skills, but also then temporarily give yourself some boosts, some buffs through food and being rested. And there might be even some armor pieces out there or something that will also maybe give your attributes a boost. So that's kind of like how all that works. And again, the important thing about understanding your attributes and building them in a certain way and unlocking certain attributes that you're going to be using them more, it's just that like your character is going to be better at doing certain things. And you can certainly always go like the jack of all trade routes and just like have everything, put your points in everything, but it's just going to take a little bit, because leveling in this game is very slow. It's a very slow process. You can get like skill points by like completing certain quests, but by and large, if you're just going by leveling, it takes a little bit. It does take a little bit. So going the jack of all trade route might not be the best for this particular game, unless you're like very, very patient. Just because when you're not going for a very particular build, you're not going to be particularly good at like one thing. You're going to be kind of average at everything for a very, very long time until you reach a certain high level, basically. So that's kind of my take on attributes. If you guys have anything else to add, please let me know in the comments. Let everybody else know in the comments. Because I'd hate for anybody to miss anything that I left out, because goodness knows I'm sure I have. But that's about it. So thanks so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Until then, keep surviving and keep thriving.